ever wanted to communicate something to someone, or you wanted them to communicate something with you, and you just told them, express yourself, just tell me what you're feeling. And then they either shut down or they started talking about something else, deflecting, or if that ever happened to you. Now, if that's ever happened to you, especially if you're dealing with a man, and you're wondering, and you keep asking yourself, why won't the man just tell me what he's thinking? Why won't he tell me what he's feeling? And then I did a video explaining why men are emotionally unavailable. And in that video, I got a whole bunch of backlash, and then I got a whole bunch of people who said, golly, now I understand. And I explained in that video that most people are poor communicators. I'm gonna give you the litmus test in a second. But also, I explained that one of the things you have to do, you can get a man to share, because many men have been conditioned not to speak their heart because it's a sign of weakness, not to show emotion. And a lot of women get upset about that because they're like, I've been groomed to show I'm showing my emotion, why not you? And so what I tell them is this, what I'm going to tell you today is, I said, number one, you got to get him to trust you. You see, anytime a man shares something with you, anytime he becomes vulnerable, he sees it as an area of, I could get hurt. So I've got to trust you to be vulnerable. Well, how do you get a person to trust you? You get them to trust you by, number one, creating a safe space. What do I mean? What is a safe space? You might hear somebody say, create a safe space for their man so he can share. Well, what creating a safe space is, it's simply a place where I can be vulnerable without worrying about getting hurt, getting injured, getting wounded. And if I tell you something, it won't end up coming back to hurt me. Now, there is a very specific way to do this. And so my job today is to tell you, how do you create a safe space? So I think I'm gonna give you 8 or 9 reasons. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, 8 or 9, but I'm going to tell you how to create that safe space. Let's jump right in. Number 1, you tell the person what you want to do. Well, what do you mean by telling you what do you want to do? Tell him, you say, hey, listen, I want to create a space that's safe for you so you can share with me. I realize that maybe we're not there yet. I realize that maybe you may be reluctant to do it, but I want to create this. Now, most people will never teach you this step. Why is it important? Because you're introducing a new thought to him. Now, think about it. When you tell somebody where you want to go, you simply plant the seed of that thought of us going together. Now, the other person's mind opens up to the idea that this is where we're wanting to go. Without that, he doesn't know where you want to go. He doesn't know what you want to do. And so he's operating on the premise that, yes, I still might get hurt. But when you tell a person, I want to get to a place that is safe for you. I want to get to a place that is vulnerable for you. I want to get to the place where you feel like I'm that person that you want to share with. Now, listen, I know that we're not there yet. I know it's going to take some time. And when you say it just like this, watch what happens. As he begins to let down his walls, and then I'm going to tell you what to do once he begins to let down his walls. But number 2, second principle, be patient. Be patient. Now you say, well, what are you talking about, Coach? You got to be patient. Here's why. Think about it from this perspective. He didn't come to you. He didn't automatically just become this person that wasn't sharing. He came to you like that. He came to you with thoughts, memories, beliefs, experiences, traumas about things that have shaped his view of the world, shaped his view of relationships. And if he's been wounded before because of him being vulnerable, he's going to be reluctant to do it again. But you tell them, again, step 2, you be patient, but you also tell them, I'm going to be patient. I'm going to work with you as long as it takes. Now, when you tell a person that you're going to be patient, everything you do looks like patience to them. Okay? And so you're, again, introducing a thought that makes him say, wow, you're the person for me. Number 3, this is important. You have to validate their emotions empathetically. Now, what do I mean by that? Validate that you say, hey, listen, you have every right to feel what you feel. I understand it. Now, we may not feel the same way. We may have different thoughts. We may have different emotions, but I want to validate what you feel because you have every right to feel it. Your emotions, your feelings are important to me. And see, why is this important? Because a lot of times, and I'm going to be honest, a lot of women who operate in their masculine energy, I know I get some blowback on this video, but I'm ready for the smoke. But what they say is, oh, you in your feelings. You in your feelings. And what happens is now he doesn't ever want to share anything with you because you see it as a sign of weakness. If I express how I'm feeling, it's a sign of weakness. So what does a man do? He suppresses it. And then the longer he suppresses it, the harder he's going to be to reach, especially if you're trying to get closer, get deeper, and all of the above. Number 4. Ooh, number 4 is good. Number 4 is praise him when he shares something that he's never shared before. Now, let me explain this to you. A man may tell you one thing that he's never told you before. I mean, he may share one ideology, one feeling that he had, one memory that he's had, and how it affected him. But when he does that, what I want you to do is say, thank you for sharing that. I know maybe you didn't share it. I've never heard that before, but you thank him. I appreciate you sharing that with me. I appreciate you taking the opportunity to give me something, to tell me something that you didn't have to tell me. Now, what that's going to do is that's going to make him want to share more things with you. Whenever you praise somebody and you appreciate them for doing it, don't you want to do more of it? Absolutely. Because what it says to his conscious mind is, oh, this is a safe place because I'm getting rewarded for saying something, for doing something that I've never done before. Good thing. All right, number 5. Ooh, this is good. When he tells you something, don't victimize yourself. Now, what do I mean by that? If he tells you something, the truth about the relationship, how he feels about the relationship, about how he feels about something you're doing. Hey, the way you're talking to me is disrespectful to me. All right. He tells you how he's feeling. But then you say, well, you did this. Well, you made me disrespect you. The truth is, now what you're doing is you're victimizing yourself. And what he says is, I don't want to say anything else because me saying something leads to the victimization or you not taking accountability or responsibility for the things you're doing. If he's sharing something with you, even if you don't like it, thank him for sharing it. I appreciate you sharing that. Now, I may have a different viewpoint, or is it okay if we talk about it, or can I share with you how I view it? Then we're moving in the right direction. Number 6, and this is probably the biggest one of all. Number 6, to creating a safe space. Do not ever weaponize what he tells you. How many times has he told you something? And then you bring it up later in a conversation because y'all going back and forth and you want to hurt him. You bring it up later about, oh yeah, I remember when you said you hit somebody in your last relationship. You put hands on your last girlfriend or you did whatever. I'm just making up some stuff. But whatever it is if you bring it up during the time that you're discussing it with him to either belittle him, to hurt him, or bring it up to somebody else, what you've done is you essentially weaponized what he told you. And you know what's going to happen? He's not going to ever tell you anything else. All right? I'm just saying. Number 7, Be mindful of your tone and body language. Now let me stop and look at this camera for a minute. Your tone matters. In communication, all right, out of 100% of communication, you know how we communicate? 63% is nonverbal, facial expression, gestures, body language. 33% is tone of voice. Do you know in communication, only 7% is what we actually say? So imagine if you're communicating with somebody and they're telling you something really important and you on your phone. Imagine if you're communicating with someone and you're telling them something that's important and you like this, disregarding or dismissing what they're saying. What are they going to do? They're going to shut down. Imagine if your tone is like every time they talk to you, you raise your voice. You're like, what the hell are you talking about? Shit, I don't give a damn about this. And that's all the other person hears. If you cannot discuss it without raising your voice, without changing your tone. Now, I know we get heated. Okay, that's okay to get heated, but it's not okay to stay in that state, stay in that emotional state. Because if we stay in that emotional state, we can never, ever, it tells the other person that I can't share anything with you. I can't open up. This is not a safe place. It's a hostile place. Last but definitely not least, I want you to ask open-ended questions that suggest curiosity. So when you're wanting to create a safe space, I always tell people, get curious. How do you get curious? By asking questions. If a person tells you something about their life, and you say, the way you get curious is you go deeper. And this is going to create deeper conversations. You might say, well, how did that affect you in your life? What have you done since then to propel yourself into a different place? How has that empowered you today, those experiences as a child? And when you ask open-ended questions, invoking curiosity, the other person wants to share because what they're saying is, my life means something to you. I mean something to you. I have value to you because you want to explore deeper what I'm thinking. All right, y'all. That's the 8 things. Ladies, if you want to create a safe space for a man, now some people going to listen to this and they don't want to create a safe space because you know what they'll say? He ain't creating no safe space for me. Well, I ain't going to do this because he's not doing it for me. And I often say to you, I understand what you're saying, but it takes one person to change the trajectory of a relationship. One person that says, you know what? I want to grow. I want to be better. I want to become a better version of myself. If that's you, I want you to put this video on rewind and keep looking at it until you master it. All right? I'll see you in the next one. Hey, listen, what I want you to do is subscribe to the channel if you're not a subscriber. I want you to also click the notification bell so every time I drop a new video, you'll be privy. They will notify you. And listen, check out this other video up here. I'm going deep in there too.